so well against Saw. He just throws the Valkyrie down. It's guaranteed to stun you unless you lose all your stacks and run away. Then he'll get the root. He'll get so many Winter Spires. So Saw is in a lot of trouble versus Rhyme, which means that they're not going to go against it. They can now see with their last pick carry. Maybe if they pick Vox, maybe we will push for Saw. But if they pick something else, maybe they pick a Baron or they pick a laner that Saw is not as good against. They're not forcing themselves into it. But they pick Vox, so Saw is definitely on the table.
Yep, that's all looking like a very viable pick. No reason for the A side to really go for Vox and Saw together. I couldn't imagine that ever happening. So they're not going to pick it away, and it's still it's tough to say. But Lance is quite a tough hero to pull off, because if you do miss those impales, as a lot of his kit just down the drain, he's in a position where for a few seconds is quite vulnerable himself, but it also means that you're not really utilizing his kit. However, the Saw, if could go along with that, the suppressing fire could just make it easier to land those impales.
Yeah, that is a common play with Saw and Lance, is you slow them with the suppressing fire, maybe even bait out the Vox's Sonic Zoom, then it'll be quite an easy impale, and from there, get them all into a wall, or Vime just bouncing in and just destroying them with his chain CC, chain root. They don't block the first one, you're in a lot of trouble. Gwen! That is not something I was expecting to see today at all. I suppose the Skedaddle's good for getting you out of gauntlets. Gwen doesn't need a block to do that. But why do you think they've gone for this really out of the meta weapon Gwen pick?
Well, I can see in terms of a hero kit, it synergizes well overall with the team of Lance and Rhyme. A lot of slows and CCs available in the kit, and as well as the stun coming out from Gwen with the aces high. The only problem that I'm seeing here, Vox is quite squishy and will be easy to get onto. Well, maybe not easy to get onto, but easy to burst down. That's the main issue, is getting onto these heroes, because we saw it yesterday, I believe, a lot of Samuel Vox comps going together, and they're just so hard to jump on because they're really mobile heroes. And in terms of where they play in a lot of situations, you've got this Samuel on the backline putting down the poke, and if you try dive onto him, you're ignoring the Vox that's dancing around in front of you, building up those breaking point stacks. And we talked about this dilemma yesterday, that if you let this team comp get ahead, it's really going to be up to do some work. I think that it does come down once again to, is similar to what we saw, and the fact that the team with the Lance, just those impales are going to be so crucial to just chaining the whole CC together.
Yeah, it really is going to be chained together. I think the first will be Buckshot Bonanza, used by Gwen, get that slow, make that so much easier for the impale. It's just all about making sure Lance doesn't Githian wall out of an Aces High, or Githian wall out of a Valkyrie, or Githian wall out of a Chill Winds. So you really should save it for until all of that CC is down, or use it first to get them into a wall and do the first stun. Otherwise, it's going to be tough to coordinate that correctly. That is something to watch out for in this game.
Yes, and I think that we will see quite a bursty build, more than likely, coming out from the Gwen that you were talking about. Not much of a meta hero at the moment, so to bring in the Gwen now, it's just going to have to rely on following up with burst on whoever gets locked down. And I see that the comp could work out in that situation, but this is all, just in theory, all on paper, what we seem to perceive for ourselves. We'll always have to see how the players decide to play these comps, and how they even decide to build it can really crucially turn the outcome of the match.
Yeah, I really think that Tension Bow will be first or second behind a Solar Blade. Rhyme will go for Shatterglass first, and then you have that synergistic power spike of Gwen with Tension Bow, Rhyme with Shatterglass. You probably, if you get the jump, you've won the fight. And even if you don't get the jump on them, if you land one form of CC, you've probably got that target down. So that's definitely a combination that can work. I am really interested to see what build this Gwen's going to go, because we haven't seen Gwen at all. Are we going to see attack speed? Or are we going to see maybe a Saw build, Saw Blade into Triple Tyrants? Because Gwen's going for that burst on hit, use the buckshot to refresh a basic attack sort of idea. Or maybe we're going to see some tornado triggers, some breaking point perhaps on Gwen. We really have no idea what she's going to build.
Yeah, we will have to see as they go into it, as I mentioned, that the builds can really just change around the whole flow of the matchup, and those power spike moments that you get depending on how, obviously, for yeah, it'll just be quite interesting to see. I agree with you when you brought up the fact of Tension Bow being a likely pick. No matter what they try to go for, it's just some good early damage alongside that of the buckshot, and I forget what the perk is, but
The boomstick perk.
the boomstick, yes.
Yeah, that's really something that Gwen has always played before because of that boomstick plus tension bow proc was dealing too much damage. Now with health being increased, it may not work as well, but we are going to have to wait and find out. We are now loading into the house you unfold for the first game of the day. Let us know which team you think is going to win. Is it going to be the side of Renegades, or will Divine Aurora take the series 1-0 so far? We're going to have to find out. I think it's definitely a much more meta comp from Renegades. They've gone for something that we know that works. They've seen it being played before really well, and they're just going to try and copy it. Whereas Leonti on this Gwen, really, it's just going to be up to how well he's figured out how to play Gwen this match.
Yes, and we do see a very aggressive start, more or less, from the side of Divine Aurora. They went towards that mid and managed to keep SNK away from him. SNK actually starting those fronts, making sure they don't get stolen away from the side of Divine Aurora, so they're going to be able to get that outer treant, and it looks like now and see on this Gwen going to take a rotation of the jungle alongside Spitfire on the Rhyme, just going to help probably pick up the ambient gold more or less, because Rhyme's still wanting those items as well, wanting that economy to really help them out in terms of working towards early Shad Glass and then just trying to get on top of the enemy. As you mentioned, Boots second can also be a good item to invest in.
Yeah, it looks like there might be a little bit of negation there. Samuel drifting though.
Yeah, the drifting dart doing a lot of damage. We know that Samuel, once he hits that level 2, just has such a power spike in his own kit just because of Empowered Malice and Vertex and the AoE damage off the back of it. But there's going to be the Impale onto Spaghetti. He goes very low. He does get the Vanguard from SNK on that Arden, so he'll be up to back out. And Arden actually going to pick up the first blood for himself, taking down Majin. So nice turnaround there from the side of Renegades. They might be up to get more, but Spitfire does have the fortified power as long as he's landing those attacks. And you can see the boomstick perk coming into use by Nyon. They should be up to pick up SNK, and they managed to do so before he's able to jump onto Nyon. But it has left Chingy ahead to go and take that outer treant, so he's going to take the second one of the map for today. Meanwhile, Nyon C just rushing in there, I think alongside Martian. I didn't quite catch that, did you?
No, I didn't catch it, but most likely Impale landed and then Vox got blown up by Gwen. That's just pretty simple combo. Vox slightly overstaying. He's gone for Blazing Salvo and Swift Shooter. Spaghetti's going, it looks like it's a poison chip breaking point. A very odd way to get there. Maybe breaking point tornado trigger because that's a different build. But RMC goes so low, nice body rocket from Martian. He was unable to pour home.
Yeah, those Malice and Verdict shots just so close to hitting them even when they're trying to back it. But just 2 of them would have been enough to take them out, I believe. But they're putting the early pressure down on this first turret from the side of Renegades, as they have all 3 members up in lane. Should be up to get to about half health. Doesn't look like they can quite push those minions anymore, though, to rarely push it past that half-point mark. And there's going to be Martian diving in on the front line, but need to be careful, taking so much damage on his own already, and really not tanky enough at this stage. Doesn't even have the fountain built up yet. Of course, we're only 3 minutes in, so he's already going to be forced back just after returning to lane.
Yeah, had a live spring, but it's not going to keep him that healthy anymore. And Spaghetti is farming alright, but Neonti's doing really well on this Gwen. He's been under turret. You see the turret's down to half health. He was forced back, and Rhyme took a lot of the wave, but that just made Rhyme easy for Samuel. Shingy was doing so well on CS compared to Rhyme. He's taking those rotations quicker, getting a couple of elders, as you said. Now I'm going to go through his backs, and Shingy looking to push it up the lane, see if anything's going to come of it. I don't think he'll be able to get a kill, but he might get some more poke on Yonti, try and get some more pressure on that turret, because Renegade's comp can really siege fantastically well.
Look at the positioning coming out from Chingy on the Samuel. Is going to get flared out, however. I was expecting Chingy might get some free damage off the bat with the positioning they have there as they push up this wave in, but might still be up to do so as he puts down the drifting dart, just trying to get a few shots in there onto Nyon C. Does some decent damage, and they finally push that turret past the halfway point down to the quarter. However, there's going to be the engagement coming out from Spitfire onto Spaghetti. Spaghetti. One more shot will be enough to pick them up, but Nyon C going low themselves needs to hide behind their teammates, let them body block those Samuel shots, and remembering to keep your distance is also quite important because those Samuel powered Malice Verdicts do a fair amount of AoE damage. Nyon C trying to get some return damage onto this turret, but really doesn't have the minion wave to do it. We'll have to back off alongside Margin. Spitfire not going to be able to steal any farm at the moment, just has to go back to the jungle shop. Might be able to pick something up there, but no, not really enough gold yet. You can see probably going towards that Shattered Glass burst with the Heavy Prism and Eclipse Prism in his pocket.
I suppose it could be Dragon's Eye first on this Rhyme. It's not a bad item against the position, I think. So then,
It's going to be the first turret falling. Renegades finally pushing in and always being successful with their minion wave pushes, getting a lot of damage out of it. Whereas on the side of Divine Aurora, by the time they push the minions up to the turret, they either have so few minions or so little health on their own heroes that it's quite hard to get anything out of it. So far is definitely working out for the sides of Renegades, even though they're behind in kills 1 to 3. They're seeing ahead in gold just slightly.
Yeah, getting that tier 1 turret really pushed them ahead in gold despite the kill deficit. Yes, Shattered Glass has been the first item for Rhyme. It looks like Spaghetti's going to go Breaking Point Double Tyrant, or maybe Breaking Point with a bit of crit with a tornado trigger thrown in there. Interesting build that he's gone for. I think it could work against this Rhyme. Push and shift might have been really useful because you know Rhyme's going to sustain. He's going to get 400 health. He's going to probably buy an Eve Harvest. Going for much more damage much earlier on. Doesn't make sense. Rhyme's going to survive in the fights as well. That is another way to try and beat him, is to just outscale and out-survive. And if you do out-survive, you have the Breaking Point and the Dragon's Eye, first item for Renegade.
It is interesting to see the instant rush into the Breaking Point, but you're right, it's really going for that scaling damage at this point, and no poison shift. He doesn't really see the need for cutting down any healing coming from enemy team, as there's only going to be the fountain there, and it's just gone for the Breaking Point straight off instead. But it's going to be aces high onto Chingy, but Chingy manages to land the Oblivion onto that Amashin. They pick up the kill. There's going to be Valkyrie on the backline, and it's enough to go along with the Winter Spire to take down that box. Chingy running away with the help from that Vanguard, but Nyon C on the chase. Just one more buckshot will be enough to pick up the kill, and they managed to do so with SNK being the last one standing, but Spitfire not going to take any of it, going to be able to just tank his way through it. I might have spoken too soon, as he goes very low as soon as he stops landing those Winter Spires, and Nyon C going to be able to pick up the kill. More than likely onto SK, or is he a bit too tanky for him? Looks like a bit too much Shinchu, as Martian gonna go in there with the Impale on Spaghetti, just keeping the back in. This is once again why I mentioned by the side of Divine Aurora, although they push the minion wave up, they're winning fights and really not getting anything out of them.
Julia's gift on the Arden, giving him a bit of healing, and the healing flask as well, being really important to keep SNK alive. Gwen just couldn't do anything, and Spitfire was lucky to survive. Nice damage from the Gwen with that.
That's going to be the Impale onto Chingy, almost hit Spaghetti as well. They managed to step out of that, but only for a second, as he sticks around and still gets picked up in the fight. And now they really have a chance for the side of Divine Aurora, as long as they can push these minions before Spaghetti and Chingy get back to lane. They're quite pushed up in favor of the side of Renegades, and they're just going to leave Spitfire on this Rhyme to solo the gold mine. But we could see a steal coming here from SNK as he's trying to get something out of the fire. Got pushed away by the Giphian wall, and that really is quite a problem, as you said, that a lot of the time with those repositioning abilities that come out from a lot of the support heroes, such as the Lance and even Bab Churnwalker, you really need to be careful when playing alongside of a Rhyme, because he relies so heavily on landing those Winter Spires to keep him alive.
Yeah, Margin making a mistake and then making up for it by securing the gold mine. That Giphian wall made SNK feel so happy. It's like, the gold mine's off the Winter Spire, I've got this, let me just get my talent and one punch this into our team. But it was secured by the Lance. And yeah, as you said, it's same thing with Churnwalker, similar thing with Finn. So quite a team play, and SNK
just gonna check that bush. There's gonna be the Oblivion going down, and it doesn't put anyone to sleep, but it does trap out Martian and Spitfire. Now it's still stuck in there, but not running from this fight. Just going to jump on Spaghetti, forcing out the fountain use on the side of Renegades, and some good use of the Chill Winds going, of the Winter Spies going through to really zone out Spaghetti, but going to be able to lock down Chingy. Good impale into the Giphian wall and just keeping him there. And now we see Gwen moving onto this turret with the rest of the team, but going to finally be able to take it. And although it was a lot slower than the Renegade's initial turret, they have managed to build up a decent gold lead for themselves. Although we saw the very slight lead for Renegades at first after taking that objective, it's gone so much in favor of the side of Divine Aurora after all those fights, now seeing it 22.9k over to 20.2. So if they can keep this going, they really will have a good transition onto when Kraken comes up and hopefully easy taking for them.
Yeah, 2 infusions used up by Divine Aurora, 1 used by Chingy, but that didn't really help them out. This Fox is looking like he's going Breaking Point Tyrant's Tornado Trigger, so very similar to the old school build, but putting in a bit more attack speed, trying to fight away from the vibe a bit more effectively. But the CC chain and combination from Divine Aurora is really impressive, where they're almost always getting the impale and their drive is following up and deleting someone, not pushing out Winter Spires in general, apart from the Gold Mine. But Chingy is just getting blown up by this Rhyme and by the Gwen. There's not much they can do. He's not going to build up 9 Dragon's Eye stacks because he's going to die about 3 seconds into the fight, which is a bit of trouble. SNK could be forced out. He's split from his team. He's going to have to back to Sentry or try and one punch this Gold Mine. He's got a candy for it. Oh, nice plays. Easy candy. Trying to stop Divine Aurora from taking this. Are they going to back off? Because this fight's going to happen.
Well, Spitfire's still going for it for now, but there's going to be the engagement coming out from Renegades, and good use of the Oblivion. Nyancy having to block out the Gauntlet, ended up getting caught up in that Oblivion, but there's no real follow-through there. SNK on the front line going fairly low, both Romans. In fact, that minion miner still being candied is doing a lot of damage to everyone, causing a bit of chaos in the midst of this fight, but Spitfire not ready to back out. He's going to continue to hold his ground here, going up, just checking. They really want this gold mine, so they're going to go right now. And SNK will still see them there, but you see Renegade still nearby. Will try and contest this one. Spaghetti taking a lot of damage, but Fountain coming out on the side of Renegades gets them back up to full health. But Martian, meanwhile, fairly low, does not have that Fountain up for his team, and they will have to back off of this gold mine. I don't really see it being taken by the side of Renegades at this point, but no, SNK just being cheeky, putting another candy on there. He's like, they don't want to let the side of Divine Aurora sneak one past them, get their goal lead even further, because as I mentioned before, you know, if Divine Aurora are able to continue to do that, should have good transition in towards this Kraken.
Yeah, it's one of those
I think
things...
SNK doesn't want to take a fight as well. They're just trying to stack up at this point and build up those items, as we see Spaghetti now sitting on that Tornado Trigger that you mentioned earlier being a pickup for him.
Once again, they wait for the candy to go out. Like, come on, SNK, another 50 gold, put another candy on and we're going to take this.
Well, they are going to try and move the Renegades out into a fight. Last time they didn't have the Fountain, but they do now, and SNK actually will walk without Fountain. Yes, yeah, there's going to be the Valkyrie that aces high onto the box, and they hit him up instantly. Now see trying to chase down Chingy, but needs to be careful with the Crystal Sentry. They could just try and find SNK, but the Impale not going to land, and turning their attention once again back to this gold mine. Will they be left in peace to do it? It looks like no with the answers. Chingy trying to make something happen here, but gets pushed out this Drifting Dog, so good engagement from Martian to be aggressive there. SNK jumping in, just wanting to steal, not going to find it, might lose his life instead. Chingy just putting the shots in with the Malice and Verdict, trying to get someone, but no, Martian and Spitfire so very low, especially Spitfire, not going to get taken out, and Chingy just having to back out on his lonesome, go clear his own farm. So after all that effort coming out from both teams, Divine Aurora end up getting what they want.
Yeah, Spitfire was like, come on, just let me secure this gold mine. I've tried it 4 times now. I'm not 81 anymore. It's quite a lot of effort to take this gold mine. But it's a smart play from Divine Aurora because they know they're ahead in gold. And so what they decided was, right, we start the gold mine, we force a fight, we win the fight because we're ahead, then we get a gold mine in the turret. And so it's a smart play. But the problem was they couldn't win the fight because they were taking gold mine. And Minion Candy, 50 gold, it stops the enemy securing 1,200 for their side. Probably quite worth it from SNK to pick that one up. but it did take an awful long time for Vainglory to get that, which did kind of stop their aggression from working out how they might have wanted. It looks like Gwen is going to go for the breaking point, so the Soul Blaze into Tension Bow as we expected, and then go for a bit of ramping damage to try and match up with Vox.
Well, it's like during that time, neither team really was able to go and farm elsewhere at least, so no team got any benefit from it, except for Divine Aurora at the end there, so it's just more drawn out overall, and we see SNK getting caught out, doesn't get caught on that second pale bow, and it really worked out for Divine Aurora now, putting them 5k ahead of the side of Renagades, who they're saying at 32.7 over to the 27.2k from Renegades, so it's working out quite nicely for them now that Kraken is up on the vault. They basically need to just win out one fight. They don't even need an ace, they just need to get the man on it. It should be enough. There's going to be aces high onto Spaghetti, and the wait for it also used in return, so ult's going across, but nothing really being found out of it, and they're just going to turn their attention to Kraken and just rush this. They know they've got the advantage at least early on, and so much damage being put out from that team at this point. As long as they can keep SNK away, who's always trying to cause trouble with these objectives, there's going to be the pale onto it, and they follow through with the Valkyrie onto the backline. It does get blocked out, but the Gauntlet managing to catch up now and see where Olivia doesn't. However, it's Spaghetti going to jump onto that opportunity, gets taken out himself. Nioncy just kiting back so well, able to pick up the double kill, could even get the triple if SNK tried to challenge it, but no, SNK just trying to run, does not want to give them the ace and the Kraken, so you can see SNK being so just aware of the whole situation they're in a lot of the time, not overstaying, not trying to let the enemy take objectives so easily. So SNK a very good head on him there, especially being a rogue player for Renegades.
Yeah,
I think Rogue in a lot of situations is quite the shot caller and has a lot to say and understanding about the map, but they're going to be able to take it, even though SNK jumping in.
Arden does always like to do a little steal, but SNK is dead. The reason he didn't chase Gwen earlier was because if he died, it gave up the ace trying to kill Gwen. That is a turret and a Kraken, because ace buff minions guaranteed to take that turret down. A smart place from SNK, went for the steal, not quite sure that it was the right decision. Even if he steals it, he dies, then Divine Aurora will get a free Kraken for nothing, because you can't push them to 2 members. So now SNK not up for a little bit, easy 2 turrets with Divine Aurora. Are they going to try and push all? Maybe push for the win with this push.
It is possible. It's been done before, pushing 4 turrets. We might see it here as they have no room to really keep them safe. But Valkyrie going to land on the back line, and they're easily going to pick up Chingy as the first kill. Martian, however, tanking up this turret needs to be careful as he can't tank up much more. Spitfire going low themselves will be the first as well. Martian going to be second, and Spaghetti building up his stack, sitting on 20. Just needs the speed boost to get there, and he's going to get with the Vanguard, and they pick up the triple kill, the ace. And I'm not sure why they're not backing.
Minions stopping the backport.
Oh,
Spaghetti's not backing because Minions
Spaghetti
keep
just
attacking
dancing
him.
there, not even doing a bit of a glitch. You could see Spaghetti just having a bit of a done.
That's what happens when if you start a port home and get attacked by a minion. Sometimes the animation of port home still happens when you stop porting. So if you looked at his animation, there wasn't a white beam.
No, there wasn't the beam around him.
Because
and I was actually wondering about that.
Because a minion attacked him again. Minion's OP, Glad gets another turret because of that. That's awesome.
Yeah, the other day I was wondering about that. You must think, how do the heroes have that ability? All of them just happen to have the ability to port home magically. Are they Power Rangers or something?
Don't question it.
We won't question it, but apparently minions have the magic to break it. They break the special dance that's necessary, but there's going to be the Olivia going on to the backline, gets blocked out. Aces High doesn't quite hit onto Spaghetti, and Divine Aurora chasing down this box with all they've got. The Gauntlet going to keep them separated just enough, but no, Nancy going to use his reflex block, his Aegis to get through there as well as the skedaddle, and just manages to kill that box. Meanwhile, on the backline, Chingy doing some work to Spitfire, but needs to be careful not to get caught out by the chill wins, because that means it's over. Or the Impale. Chingy just fighting out for their life, and they're not going to have enough as Nancy making the rotation to join back up with them, not chasing down SNK, knowing it's a bit of a lost cause.
They go for the base race.
They
don't
can
care
just
about their turret. They go for the base race.
Just go into the base, but they're fairly low.
They've given
and
up.
they're going to go back.
Yeah, they could have stopped that turret falling. Nice buckshot clear, about 50 minions. But yeah, Neoncy decided to leave his turret because it was basically dead anyway. And so in the end, after 2 kills for Divine Aurora, Renegades get a turret. So really a good fight for them in all honesty. No Kraken to be taken by Divine Aurora. The target focus from Divine Aurora was so impressive in that team fight. They went all in on Vox, then all in on Shingy, and they did not split focus, which is what we saw the side of Renegades do. Renegades, they half went in on Rhyme, half went in on Gwen. Rhyme was about a quarter health. Gwen was about less than that in terms of health, but they didn't die. They all survived, and Spaghetti and Shingy did fall. So target focus is really important. It's tough for someone like a Samuel to focus because he just has to Madison Verdict forwards, but Spaghetti really needs to be on the same target that Shingy's on and try and get them low.
SNK gonna get caught up in that impale. There's gonna be the engagement, a re-engage coming out from the side of Renegades as they go in with the Oblivion into the Wait For. Wait For gets walked out, there's no silence coming out, and the Gauntlet's still remaining, but they're gonna just stand in there and continue to push back. Divine Aurora picking up the kill onto SNK. If they pick up one more kill, you know, they don't even need to pick up another kill, but they will manage to do so onto Samuel. And Vox running for his life, so very low. They could ignore him at this point, and they'll still be up to get the game with that final turret remaining. But Neoncy just gonna go in for the triple kill. 16, 1, and 3 on this Gwen, and you were asking if this Gwen would work out, and I was also a bit unsure. We kind of speculated, well, as long as Divine Aurora are able to land the CC chains, they should be fine, and it looks like for a lot of those fights, that's exactly what they were able to do. And in terms of the build, Neoncy going for that breaking point, not a bad idea, because you can see a lot of the time is SNK first getting caught out, and they were just able to follow through on that, and the fights were quite extended, so really working out for the Gwen.
Yeah, it's really just matching Vox in terms of damage. Vox had 4 damage items and Gwen had 3. But if it in a straight one versus one, Gwen's going to win that because she has the defense. But once they both hit 20 breaking point stacks,